In ancient Greece, women were not allowed to take part in the Olympic Games or even to watch them as spectators. You're watching a video that first we have a listening practice with a text which is about sports and Olympic Games. Then you notice listening comprehension part, and at the end of the video, you will learn the meaning of unfamiliar words. The answer sheet is at the end of the video as well. Sports around the world. The popularity of sports. Sports are extremely popular in most countries around the world. People feel excited and happy when their favorite team wins, and they feel sad and disappointed when their favorite team loses. Sports make everyday life more fun and more interesting. In addition, playing sports can be a good way of getting exercise, relaxing, and helping us to stay healthy and in shape. We don't know exactly how and when sports first started. However, in both the East and the West, the history of sports is very long and has always been an extremely important part of every culture. In the beginning, sports were much more than just entertainment. They were connected to religion, and people participated in games as a way to try to influence nature. For example, the Zunis, a Mexican tribe that lived in a very dry area, took part in games because they believed that the gods would send them rain if they played well and won. Then their corn crops would grow and they would be able to survive. In southern Nigeria, young men took part in wrestling matches, and they also believed that their games could magically influence the growth of their crops because the outcome of the games was so important to their future. Very large crowds of people gathered to watch and to give support and encouragement to the participants. For both the participants and the spectators, games were a matter of life and death and a way of trying to influence and control an uncertain future. People believed that the sports were a gift from the gods and a form of religious worship. The Olympics. Early societies also used sports as training exercises to prepare young men for war and survival. However, as people started to live together more peacefully, sports festivals such as the Olympic Games were developed as a peaceful substitute for war. In other words, these competitions brought different groups of people together peacefully and took the place of war in the society. Everybody today knows about the Olympics, especially in this age of television. Every 4 years, we have the opportunity to watch the best sportsmen and sportswomen in the world compete against each other in these international games. Probably you have watched athletes from your country taking part in these competitions. If so, you know the excitement and pride you can feel when a person or a team from your country participates in the Olympics and does well. The Olympic Games first began in 776 before Christ in Greece, originally as a religious celebration in honor of the god Zeus. It was the highest honor to be allowed to participate in the Olympics, and only males of good character were chosen to take part in these games. Women, slaves, non-Greeks, and people who had ever been in any kind of trouble in society couldn't participate. As a matter of fact, women were not even allowed to watch the Olympic Games after a certain point because the participants performed in the nude. At the first Olympic Games in 776 before Christ, there was only one event, a foot race of 200 meters after the 13th Olympic Games. However, other events were included wrestling, discus throwing, and chariot racing. The competitions were held every 4 years just as they are today. Like the video if you're enjoying that. Okay, so go on. The Olympic athletes had a 10-month training period to prepare for the competition. They devoted themselves entirely to their training during this time. They ate and drank a special diet, cheese, wine, and some meat, and followed a difficult but carefully designed training program. They prayed that the gods would allow them to win, but only if they were good enough and deserved to win. The athletes didn't work. Instead, their families and their home city-states supported them completely. Olympic winners were given many gifts and special privileges by their city-states. They didn't have to pay taxes, and they were given the best seats in the local theater for the rest of their lives. Poets wrote poems praising them for their victory. The whole society honored them and looked up to them as heroes and as role models. People believed that the winners were not only chosen by the gods, but that they became like gods themselves through winning. Over a period of time, Greece lost power and Rome gained power. As a result of this shift in power, the games gradually changed from religious festivals to carnivals and circuses to amuse people and to keep their minds off problems in society. Finally, emperors Theodosius II of Rome stopped the Olympics in 394 AD. He was a Christian and he believed that the Olympic Games were bad for Christian society because they encouraged people to think about the body rather than the spirit. By that time, the Olympics had lasted for more than 1,000 years. That was the end of the Olympic Games for the next 15 centuries. Check the meaning of hard words that are at the end of the video. In 1896, the modern Olympics began. Baron-Pierre de Coubertin of France was the father of the modern Olympics. He believed that international games would be a good way to create peace and good feelings among people from different countries. Because the early Olympics had begun in Greece, King George I of Greece was invited to open the first modern Olympic Games in 1896. More than 50,000 people attended. The modern Olympic Games were different from the early Olympics in a number of important ways. First of all, there was no longer any connection with religion. Second, the games were not limited to Greeks. They were international, and one of their main goals was to promote world peace and understanding among people from different countries. England, France, Germany, Denmark, Hungary, Switzerland, and the United States sent teams to the 1896 Olympics. After that, athletes continued to compete in games every 4 years except for 3 times during times of war. The First World War prevented the Olympic meetings of 1916, and the Second World War stopped the 1940 and 1944 meetings. Sometimes individual countries have chosen not to send their athletes to the Olympics. In this way, they make a political statement of some sort to the world. Women in the Olympics. In ancient Greece, women were not allowed to take part in the Olympic Games or even to watch them as spectators. However, they held their own games, which were called Hera, and they were in honor of the goddess Hera, the Queen of Heaven. These games also took place every 4 years up until the time of the Roman conquest of Greece. Women were first invited to participate in the modern Olympics in 1912. Since then, women's events have become very important and popular. People look forward to watching women's gymnastics and volleyball events in particular because women have shown great sports ability in these events. But women excel in many other sports as well. Girls and boys all around the world today can admire and look up to women athletes in the Olympics. This changes their ideas about what women can do with their lives. Okay, here we have understanding, ideas, and vocabulary. Question 1. Draw a line from each item on the left to the words on the right. 1. 394 AD. Do. 2. 1912. 3. 1896. 4. 776 BC. 5. 1960, 1940, 1944. A. When women first appeared in the Olympics. B. The end of the early Olympics. C. When the Olympics first began in ancient Greece. D. Times when Olympic Games were cancelled due to war. E. The beginning of the modern Olympics. Question 2. Some of these statements are true and some of them are not true. Right, true, or false? A. Women didn't participate in sports until 1896. B. Religion is an important part of the modern Olympics. C. The early Olympics were international. In other words, athletes from many nations participated in them. D. The early Olympics gradually lost their religion purpose under Roman rule. E. The modern Olympics are the same as the early Olympics. And the last question, cross out the word or phrase that is not like the other two words. A. To participate, to watch, to take part. B. Winning, losing, victory, victory. C. Spectator, participant, contestant. D. Hero of the Olympics athletes. And E. Competition, occasion, contest. Okay, here, tell me, do you agree with the presence of women in the Olympics? Tell me in the comments. Okay, here we have the meaning of unfamiliar words. Privilege. A special thing that not everybody can have. The next word. Circus. A traveling show with the animals, clowns, and other performers. Promote. To help something start and continue. Devote. To give a lot of time or money to something. The word athlete. One who plays sports involving physical ability. Spirit. The feeling and soul inside of someone. Carnival. A party or celebration that anyone can go to with music, games, etc. Substitute. Means someone who takes the place of another. Spectator. A person who watches. And survive. To continue to live. Okay, now we have the answer sheet. Question 1. 1 is B. 2 is A. 3 is E. 4 is C. 5 is D. Question 2. A is false. B is false. C is false. D true. E false. Question 3. A. To watch. B. The odd word is losing. C. Spectator. D. Athletes. And E. Occasion. Thanks for watching.